I had never, until I had a boy, until I had my son, I had never really been exposed to sports. With the swim program, their dedication to that sport is just amazing. It inspires me. They're there at 6 o'clock in the morning. They swim 2 hours every morning. After school, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they do weights, circuit training. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, they do more swim. They swim during Thanksgiving break, they swim during Christmas break, they swim during spring break. And it really wasn't until getting a first-hand view of that and then showing up at some of the swim meets to time, and then you realize, wait a minute, these kids are only in the water for 57 seconds, 55 seconds, 49 seconds. They do all of that for 49 seconds.
Lorie Norton and her sister were raised by their grandparents in Atlanta, Texas, down an oil-top road on 110 acres of land. They were taught to make good choices, complete chores before you play, and work hard to earn the things you want in life.
There was a lot of togetherness. There was a lot of time together. My grandfather would take my sister hunting. I didn't want to hunt, so I didn't do that. It was just responsible. You had a responsibility and everybody had to do something. I remember on Saturday morning, she would come in there about 8 o'clock and get us up. And I'd say, well, are we fixing to do something? Because I thought, well, we must be about to do something or we have to go somewhere. And she'd say, no, but you're not gonna lay around and sleep all day. It was only 8 o'clock.
By her teenage years, Lorie's strong work ethic stood out in a crowd.
When I was 16 and in high school, I worked at a grocery store, and I was always the one that when people would call in, they would call me and I'd say, okay, I'll be right there. Okay, I'll be right there. Okay, I'll be right there. And after about 3 months, and I was 16 at the time, but after about 3 months of I'll be right there, I got promoted to the office, which caused a big issue because there were a lot of cashiers that had been there and they didn't get to go to the office. Well, it wasn't that glamorous. The only reason why I got to go to the office was because I was always, I'll be right there, I'll be right there. But in the office, you got to do the bank deposit and you got to get the change order ready. So it seemed glamorous because you got to do all that kind of stuff.
Her work in the grocery store office inspired Lorie to get into banking. So she became a teller her freshman year in college and started a career that's lasted 21 years and counting.
You know, once I kind of got in and I saw other positions, I thought, wow, this is something that I could really, make a career choice out of. It was fast-paced, it was helping customers, but there was still a lot more to it. There was different reports and things. And at 18 years old, I applied for my first branch manager job and was shocked that I didn't get it. Just couldn't figure out why they didn't pick me.
Lorie kept her sights on that dream job. She joined Regions as a mortgage originator in 2005 and became a branch manager in 2006. Today, Lorie is consumer sales manager over 14 branches in Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. She's a 3-time Chairman's Club winner. But what most people see in Lorie is her deep care for others.
One thing that had happened that Lorie had actually reached out and done, we had one of the largest fires in East Texas, and it was in my hometown, and we had to evacuate. Lorie reached out to me, and this just blew my mind. She wanted to know that she needed to come help me get my kids, my family, and take them up to Texarkana. I mean, those are the things. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with work, but she was still worried about me. So it's not just on that everyday work level, but it's also at home. She has that passion.
She's very bright. She's a person that believes that her staff is the best staff, and she's very patient with people, and she'll take a manager and spend a lot of extra time. She's perfectly willing to not only coach them and mentor them, she's willing to try to get them ready for the next step.
She wants to see everyone do well. That's it. She wants to see everybody succeed. That's one of the things that Lorie does best, I think, and she pours her heart into it, trying to help everyone succeed.
I remember one time I was with her, we were with an associate, long-term associate, who wasn't really grasping, what we should be doing for our customers in terms of our needs-based sales conversation. And at the end of it, she really looked at that associate, and you could just see the passion in her eyes, and her saying, you've got to get this right, because the impact that you have on customers is so big.
Lorie loves people, she really does, and she's demonstrated that in so many ways here on our campus and also in our community. She's been a part of Laces of Grace, where she has served giving children shoes when they've needed them before school. She served in our Christmas on Front Street, taking care of homeless people. People who can't, quote, pay her back, doesn't make any difference. She's there to love them and to make a difference in their life.
Lorie Norton is thankful for her career and treasures time with her husband, children, and grandparents who raised her. She's guided by one lesson she holds very dear. If you've been blessed, you need to share that blessing.
I think it would be selfish if I know how to do something, and if I have some information, whether it be through applied knowledge or obtained knowledge or experiences, if I've walked the road before you, then why wouldn't I help someone?
But there's one more thing to know about Lorie.
My family is very competitive. The competitiveness doesn't just stop with me. And so we like to get together and play a game called Spoons. And we like that because it's action-packed and it's a little bit like musical chairs. Somebody at the end is going to get left out. I mean, that's the object of the game, is you may have 5 players and there's only 4 spoons. So going into it, you know that somebody's going to be left without holding the spoon.